Everybody, this your man's Reed checking in. In unfortunate news, it was just announced that BigXThaPlug's artist slash friend, C the Wizard, was shot in the head last night. Sending much healing thoughts and prayers. Welcome your Reese.
Look at BigXThaPlug on my marathon. They shoot.
That's that art.
Hey, tripping, man.
These next out to your bed.
Streets been buzzing with wild rumors about who really took out Z the Wizard. Some say Big X might have accidentally let off the shot during a wild fight outside the club, while others swear it was the Opps making the move. But now the cops are stepping in, and the way it's looking, Big X might be hiding more than he's saying. Here's what's locked in for now. The night everything flipped, January 1st, 2026, shots exploded around 3:45 a.m. in the parking lot of Pink House, Dallas during this flashy New Year's grand opening. The spot sat near Empire Central and North Stemmons Freeway, packed tight for an after-hours function that had the city jumping. BigXThaPlug and his boy Z the Wizard were chilling, fresh off a major night. Z the Wizard had just shut down the stage earlier, rocking the crowd like never before. Both were winning big. Big X had become Texas's hottest name, the one everyone was watching. And Z the Wizard, he had just signed with Future's Free Band's gang label a few months earlier in August 2025, setting himself up for superstar status. The energy was high, but nobody knew it'd be the last time they'd see Z alive. That night was supposed to mark the start of an even bigger year for both of them, but once the gunfire broke out, everything flipped in seconds. 4 people ended up getting hit, and one of them was fighting for their life. Z the Wizard, born Corey Cannon Grant Fields. He was only 25, man. He caught a bullet straight to the head, and the whole scene turned tragic real fast. A video that went viral caught BigXThaPlug's raw emotional reaction right outside the club. You could hear him shouting, "They shot Z in the head, what the?" His voice was filled with shock and pain, like he couldn't believe what just went down. Security had to rush him away from the scene before things got even crazier. That clip spread like wildfire across X, Instagram, and TikTok, blowing up within hours. But along with the video came a flood of false stories. Some pages were posting that Z the Wizard had already passed away on the spot, but that wasn't true. He was rushed to the hospital and placed on life support, fighting to stay alive while the streets held their breath. Z the Wizard fought hard for 5 long days before passing on January 5th, 2026. His family and close ones begged everyone to chill and give him space while he was still hanging on, hoping for a miracle. But every day felt heavier. The rumors wouldn't stop, and his people kept shutting down false reports saying he was already gone. Sadly, the moment everyone prayed would never come, did. The Dallas rap scene was crushed. They lost one of their brightest rising stars, a real one with big potential. And BigXThaPlug, he lost more than a friend. He lost someone he believed in, someone he had been pushing and showing nothing but love to. It was a dark time and the whole city felt it. Meanwhile, detectives stayed busy trying to piece together what really went down that night. Dallas police said they were combing through footage from over 30 cameras inside the club, plus extra surveillance from nearby spots. Still, as of mid-January 2026, no one had been taken in. The motive remained a mystery, but people who were there painted a wild picture of chaos. Multiple sources claimed some tension sparked inside the club before the shots started flying. Word on the street is that Z the Wizard was tossing cash in the air during his performance, standard move for a club appearance. But things took a sharp turn when some of that money landed on the wrong people, and they took it as straight-up disrespect. Heated words started flying, tempers flared, and before long, a scuffle broke out near the bathroom area. Security rushed in fast and kicked out the crew that felt disrespected, but the tension didn't stop there. According to reports, once those dudes got tossed out, things went left quick. Either Z the Wizard's people or the other side allegedly headed to their whips, grabbed their poles, and stormed back toward the parking lot. Next thing you know, a full-blown shootout erupted. Witnesses said multiple straps were going off, handguns, and even what they described as choppers lighting up the lot. In the middle of all that chaos, Z the Wizard got hit. People who later broke down the footage started saying something shocking. It might have been friendly fire that took him out. The streets couldn't believe it. A clip that's been making rounds online seemed to show one of Z the Wizard's own guys firing wildly while backing up. The footage had people talking non-stop, fueling the idea that maybe this wasn't some planned hit, but a tragic mistake in the middle of a messy shootout. What was supposed to be a quick retaliation might have turned into a heartbreaking loss caused by friendly fire. The truth was still under heavy investigation, but that video had everyone questioning what really went down. What couldn't be denied, though, was what Z the Wizard's death represented. It showed just how dangerous the rap game can get when street life and fame mix too close. Z wasn't just any artist, he was right on the edge of blowing up big. He had just earned cosigns from Meek Mill and BigXThaPlug, and the Dallas Observer even ranked him on their list of the top 25 DFW rappers for 2025. On top of that, he was a proud father to 2 kids who adored him. Just a few weeks before he passed, Z had hosted a toy drive for his neighborhood, giving back to the same block that raised him. His day one said he had a heart of gold and always looked out for his people. On January 11, 2026, a candlelight vigil was held at Inspiring Body of Christ Church in Dallas. Around 100 people pulled up, all wearing blue to honor him. His mom, Lash Shannon Grant, led the crowd in the Serenity Prayer, her voice breaking with emotion. Pastor Ricky Rush spoke powerful words about gun violence, leading everyone to chant, "This life matters." His closest friends, including head honcho Amir, promised they were going to keep his name alive no matter what. The whole event stayed peaceful. No chaos, no disrespect, no Opps showing up to cause trouble, which meant everything, especially in a culture where rival crews sometimes pull up to funerals just to mock the dead. That night was about love, loss, and loyalty, all for Z the Wizard. Even after the smoke cleared, the biggest question still hung in the air. Who was really behind the shooting? Every rumor, every street whisper kept circling right back to BigXThaPlug and the beefs tied to his name. The Pink House Club itself got dragged straight into the spotlight, with folks tearing into everything about that night. The venue had just flipped from an old joint called Safari Dallas into a brand new after-hours spot, but it didn't even make it a full night before chaos hit. People online were calling out the weak security that let folks walk in strapped like it was nothing. The grand opening was supposed to be a major celebration, a packed house ready to ring in the new year at what everyone thought was Dallas's next big lit spot. Instead, it turned into a full-on crime scene before sunrise. Sirens, shell casings, and heartbreak replaced what was meant to be a night of wins and good vibes. The internet went absolutely wild. Hip-hop pages, fan accounts, and even major artists were weighing in. Everyone was stunned that violence had reached BigXThaPlug's circle like that, especially since he'd been pushing himself as someone trying to unite Dallas rap instead of feeding the same cycle of street beef. But others kept it real, saying club appearances are some of the riskiest moves for rappers these days. One second you're shining for the crowd, the next second you're ducking shots. It's the harsh reality of fame mixed with street energy, and it hit way too close to home for Big X that night. The tragedy didn't just spark talk about the streets, it also made people take a hard look at how wild New Year's Eve gets in cities like Dallas. Cops said they got 759 calls in just one night for random celebratory gunfire, people letting off shots just to celebrate. When you mix liquor, egos, and loaded straps in the same spot, it only takes a few seconds for a vibe to flip deadly. Z the Wizard's death wasn't some random tragedy, it was part of a dangerous pattern that keeps repeating every year during holiday turn-ups. To make things worse, the club that hosted the event was catching serious backlash online. Right after the shooting, they were posting flex videos about how much money they made that night, bragging about a successful grand opening. The internet wasn't having it. People were calling it cold and disrespectful, considering someone had just been shot in the head in their parking lot. The comment sections were brutal. Folks demanded accountability, while the club tried to save face. Meanwhile, Z the Wizard's family was going through pure heartbreak. Their son was stuck on life support, fighting for his life after taking a catastrophic headshot. They kept having to drop statements to shut down the fake reports saying he'd already died, trying to protect his name while still praying for a miracle. Those 5 days between the shooting and the day he passed must have felt like forever, every minute filled with fear, hope, and Pain.
Big X was at the club too. Do you think that's a place that he should have been at his status?
Fuck no. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not on none of them niggas' status when it comes to just rapping in this time in our life. I'm not on none of them niggas' status. You will never see, even if I didn't get shot in my head, you will never see me in no shit like that. You know, a lot of this shit a death trap. It come from being in the streets, though. You grew up in the streets out here, you will know one thing for sure. Be Live a death trap. I don't care if they change the name. I set up, it's a death trap.
And to really understand why things unfolded the way they did, you gotta look deeper, past the headlines and rumors, into the tangled web of beefs that have been building in Dallas long before that fateful night. BigXThaPlug had been moving through the Dallas rap scene with precision, balancing fame, respect, and danger all at once. The shooting at Pink House didn't just come out of nowhere. It unfolded against a messy backdrop of street politics, music industry tension, and regional rivalries that had been brewing for years. That kind of pressure had been shadowing Big X's come-up since the start of his rise to the top. BigXThaPlug, born Xavier Landon on May 12, 1998, wasn't supposed to be a rapper at first. He had dreams of being a football star. But after getting kicked out of junior college and spending time in solitary confinement, he made a life-changing decision to pour all that pain, frustration, and survival energy into his music, and that choice changed everything. By 2025, Big X was unstoppable. He had platinum hits like Texas and that had the whole South vibing. He even crossed genres, linking up with country heavyweights Luke Combs and Bailey Zimmerman, proving his sound couldn't be boxed in. On top of that, he launched his own label, 600 Entertainment, turning himself from artist to boss. He was Dallas's biggest name in rap, no cap. But with all that success came pressure and enemies. The loudest beef in Big X's career was with Lil CJ Casino, a Fort Worth rapper repping the crew known as Casino World. Their rivalry wasn't just about music, it ran deep, laced with street energy and pride that kept the tension alive both online and in real life. The tension between BigXThaPlug and Lil CJ Casino ran deep. It wasn't just rap beef, it came straight out of the long-standing street drama across the DFW area. Things really started heating up in early 2024 when an incident at DGB Studio in Houston blew the whole situation wide open. Lil CJ Casino claimed he got hit for his jewelry, designer clothes, shoes, and even cash straight out of his whip while he was in the studio. Among the stuff that went missing was a hard drive loaded with unreleased tracks, including songs by BigXThaPlug. That detail set the internet on fire. Suddenly, people were looking sideways at Big X's camp, wondering if they knew more than they were letting on. Word spread that Big X's team moved fast to get the music back off that stolen hard drive, which only fueled the suspicions even more. Lil CJ Casino took that as a major red flag, convinced they either had a hand in the lick or knew exactly who did it. Overnight, any kind of trust between the two camps vanished completely. Lil CJ didn't let it slide. He went straight for the smoke. In May 2024, he dropped a diss track called Boss Up, where he name-dropped BigXThaPlug directly and called out the whole studio situation. Then he doubled down by posting screenshots on Instagram that he claimed proved Big X's crew was involved. He painted himself as the villain who didn't care about making peace. He wanted the world to see what he called snake behavior, and he wasn't holding back. BigXThaPlug clapped back on Instagram Live, defending the DGB studio and its owner while flexing his wins. He showed off his tour money, talked about his grind, and downplayed the whole drama like it was nothing. During the stream, he said Lil CJ Casino was in crash mode, beefing with everybody and their mama across the city. Big X made it clear he wasn't trying to feed the drama, he had bigger moves to focus on. By mid-2025, the tension started cooling off. Then in a January 2026 interview, Lil CJ Casino confirmed they had finally pieced it up and moved on. He said the whole conflict was nothing for real, just a mix of misunderstandings, bad communication, and folks getting robbed, not some real-life street war. But even though the public beef got buried, the quiet tension between Casino World and Big X's 600 Entertainment crew never truly disappeared. It just went low-key for a while. What made this situation even wilder was how close the two camps used to be. They shared the same management under Inner Circle, had chilled in Airbnbs together, and even shot music videos as collaborators. But after that studio robbery, all that brotherhood was gone overnight. The vibe turned cold fast. Still, the way this beef got handled actually showed a little hope, proof that not every rap conflict has to end in violence. Lil CJ Casino even admitted the drama wasn't deep enough for lifelong hate. Both artists realized they had way more to gain by focusing on their music instead of letting ego and pride take over. But not every story in the rap game wraps up that smooth, and for BigXThaPlug, the peace didn't last long. Big X's way of handling his ops showed a level of maturity most young rappers don't reach. He wasn't chasing clout or stirring up drama just to stay relevant. He handled things head on when needed, defended his name, then put his focus right back on the music and the business. But even with that mindset, the smoke kept finding him. Beyond the Lil CJ Casino situation, Big X found himself catching heat from another artist, Big Wild. Big Wild, a Birmingham rapper, claimed that BigXThaPlug jacked his signature phrase, the largest. According to him, he had already used it as the title of his album 2022, way before Big X dropped his single with the same name. In a July 2025 interview on No Jumper, Big Wild said BigXThaPlug had actually admitted in private where the phrase came from, but never gave public credit. He said it wasn't about hate, it was about principles. Big X didn't stay quiet either. In a September 2025 interview, he shut the whole thing down, denying he stole anything, and brushed it off as just a word anyone could use. He said those accusing him were once fans who used to hit him up for advice on how to blow up, but when he finally made it big, they switched sides. Big X even called them random rappers just hating on my come-up. The back and forth never fully got settled, but it seemed less like street beef and more like an industry power play. Artists fighting for territory and recognition in the spotlight. Then came another wave of attention, this time from Finesse 2 Times, a Memphis rapper who publicly called out BigXThaPlug for not clearing a feature they recorded together. That move lit social media on fire, pulling Big X into another round of controversy. Even when he tried to keep things business, the drama had a way of finding him. The next wave of drama hit in early January 2026, literally just days after Z the Wizard's death. Finesse 2 Times suddenly went public, claiming his label told him BigXThaPlug refused to clear their collab track. The internet went crazy, with fans instantly choosing sides before the real story was even out. Big X didn't waste time. He got on the phone with Finesse 2 Times directly to clear the air. He told him straight up that nobody had ever reached out about clearing the record, and if they had, he'd have done it instantly because the track was fire. According to Big X, there was zero reason to block the release. It was all a misunderstanding from the label's end. At first, Finesse 2 Times seemed to respect that. He went online to apologize, saying the mix-up came from his label, not Big X. He even gave Big X props for being real enough to handle things man-to-man instead of dragging it out online. For a moment, it looked like peace had finally been restored. But that calm didn't last long. Just a few days later, Finesse 2 Times flipped the script, accused Big X of lying, and threw out a wild challenge, a $500,000 boxing match to settle it for real. The internet went wild again, but most people could see what it really was, a stunt for clout, not a real attempt to fix anything. Big X didn't feed into the chaos. He stayed mostly silent, clearly too drained from losing Z the Wizard to dive into another public beef. The timing made it all feel heavier, showing how messy modern hip-hop can get when personal pain and industry pressure collide. That boxing challenge was proof of how blurred the line has become between real beef and publicity games. A $500,000 boxing match definitely gets people talking. It grabs headlines, racks up views, and keeps both rappers trending in an industry that lives off controversy. Whether Finesse 2 Times really wanted to throw hands or was just chasing publicity wasn't totally clear. But one thing was, BigXThaPlug had way bigger issues to worry about than answering every single diss that came his way. He was dealing with real loss, real life, and real pressure behind the scenes. None of these beefs had any real connection to Z the Wizard's death. The shooting at Pink House looked more like a wild, spontaneous altercation than some plotted hit by any of Big X's known enemies. Still, the air around Big X's world was always charged with tension. He was moving through a scene where fame, pride, and street energy collided non-stop, a mix that could turn explosive at any moment. When you're surrounded by robbery rumors, diss tracks, and neighborhood politics, violence can be just one heated argument away from chaos. That's the harsh reality a lot of artists face once the spotlight hits. But Z the Wizard, he wasn't an enemy. He was family. He was Big X's artist, his affiliate, his day one. Together, they were part of a new Dallas wave, a collective of artists trying to flip the city's image, pushing for peace, success, and unity in a scene that had been haunted by violence for too long. The irony is Z the Wizard losing his life in a club shootout while pushing messages of peace and anti-violence hit the whole community hard. Everyone felt the weight of that contradiction. The Dallas rap scene has always had a complicated history with street violence. Artists like Mo3 and Yella Beezy have both been caught up in shootouts themselves. Because of that, people started comparing Dallas to Chicago during this wild drill era, when the line between rap and real-life street beefs practically disappeared and the consequences turned deadly.
Putting to post to Instagram how much money the club made. I think you should just take that win and keep it to yourself, because somebody might not wake up.
BigXThaPlug had been trying to take a different route. He wanted to stand out through his music, his message, and his hustle, not through endless confrontations. But the truth is, the streets don't always honor those boundaries. No matter how far you climb, that danger still lingers in the background, waiting for one bad night to change everything. And Z the Wizard's story? It deserved way more than being remembered as just another tragic headline tied to Big X's name. He was his own artist, a rising star with crazy potential, charisma, and talent that had only started to shine. His death hit the Dallas scene so hard because he represented the future, a new generation of artists ready to break the cycle of violence and make the city proud. Born Corey Cannon Grant Fields, better known as Z the Wizard, he came up in the Oak Cliff and DeSoto areas of Texas, carrying the spirit of his hood everywhere he went. His grind, his sound, and his heart made him one of the brightest young voices in Dallas until that fateful night took it all away. Z the Wizard's story started with strength. His mom, Lash Shannon Grant, raised him mostly on her own, and he always made sure people knew how much she meant to him. In interviews and posts, he called her "my third heartbeat," showing just how deep their bond ran. Growing up, he wasn't just musically gifted, he was an athlete too. On the football field, he was a beast, fast, strong, and laser-focused, with the drive to maybe even go pro one day. But after a serious injury cut his sports dreams short, his whole path shifted toward music, and that's where he found his true purpose. He officially jumped into the rap game around 2023, creating the name Z the Wizard to represent how he maneuvered through life's toughest situations with skill and resilience. His lyrics hit hard but stayed meaningful, touching on hustle, loyalty, leveling up, and the everyday struggles that come with growing up in Dallas. What made him stand out was his sound. He mixed that street grit with melody and honesty, blending emotion and toughness in a way that separated him from the more aggressive drill rappers around him. In just 2 short years, his catalog exploded. His debut album, Wiz, Who Is Z, dropped in 2024 and put him on the map for real. Fans connected instantly with his introspective tone. He followed that up with Wiz the Don later that same year, and Words of Wisdom in April 2025, solidifying his name in the Dallas scene. His singles like Bossin' Up, Anti-Cap Music, Chevy, and Hated to Love It racked up major plays. Bossin' Up alone crossed 125,000 streams on Spotify. Z also kept it local, linking with other Dallas heavyweights like Head Honcho, Amir, Hemo Chong, and Young Don, building his buzz through authentic collaborations and city love. But his real breakthrough came in August 2025, when he officially signed with Future's Free Bands label. That deal was huge. It marked his transition from a local star grinding through grassroots shows to an artist with national recognition. Z the Wizard was right on the edge of superstardom before tragedy struck. Z the Wizard was finally getting the recognition he deserved. He had public cosigns from Meek Mill and BigXThaPlug, 2 major names that stamped his credibility in the game. The Dallas Observer even listed him among the top 25 DFW rappers of 2025, solidifying his spot as one of the city's most promising voices. Industry insiders were already calling 2026 his breakout year. Everything was lining up for him. Bigger shows, new features, and growing love from fans across the South. But Z's connection with BigXThaPlug ran way deeper than business. The two were childhood friends, both part of the New Dallas Collective, a movement of local artists pushing for peace, collaboration, and unity in a city that had lost too many of its own to senseless violence. That mission shaped everything about Z the Wizard's image and message. He wasn't trying to be the toughest, he wanted to be the realest, using his platform to promote positivity, growth, and love for the community that raised him. And even in his final days, he was focused on giving back. He organized a toy drive in his neighborhood, making sure kids had something to smile about during the holidays, no matter what their situation was. His close friends said that's just who he was, always giving, always showing love. At his vigil, Jackie McQueen said it best: "It was an L for the world that we'd never get to see Z's full potential, especially with all the projects he had in the works." And Amir Lucky, one of his day ones, made a promise from the heart. He swore he'd keep Z the Wizard's name alive forever. Former football coach Corey Barner remembered Z the Wizard as a standout young man, smart, respectful, and driven by a deep desire to lift up his family and break the cycle that had trapped so many others from similar backgrounds. His passing hit even harder because of how opposite it was to who he truly was. Z didn't die in some planned hit, and it wasn't over any rap beef or a diss track gone wrong. By most accounts, he lost his life because a small argument inside a club spun completely out of control. One of those moments where chaos takes over faster than anyone can react. The viral footage showing BigXThaPlug's reaction after the shooting captured pure emotion, raw pain and disbelief that couldn't be faked. You could hear his voice cracking as he tried to process what just happened. This was someone he had helped come up, someone he toured with, someone who represented the future of Dallas rap. And now that person was lying in a hospital bed fighting for his life with a bullet in his head. That clip didn't go viral for clout. It hit because it showed something real, something most people never see behind the flash of the rap life. The cost of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. The cost of violence that follows too close, even when you're not looking for it. It was a reminder that fame doesn't protect anyone from tragedy. It just puts it on the biggest screen for the world to watch. At Z the Wizard's vigil, his mother, Laz Shannon Grant, spoke from the heart, surrounded by nearly 100 people dressed in blue to honor his son. Pastor Ricky Rush took the mic and talked about the pain, confusion, and emptiness that gun violence leaves behind. That church became more than just a space for mourning. It became a space for healing and reflection. Nobody called for revenge. Nobody tried to stir up more tension. Instead, everyone focused on peace, unity, and honoring Z's memory the way he would have wanted it, through love and strength, not hate. The New Dallas Collective's message of peace stayed strong, even in the face of heartbreaking loss. While emotions were running high, their commitment to unity didn't crumble. Meanwhile, the investigation into Z the Wizard's death kept moving forward, but with no real closure yet. Dallas police still hadn't made any arrests as of mid-January 2026. They were breaking down footage from that night, running through hours of security video and questioning witnesses to piece everything together. But the biggest mystery still hung in the air. Was Z the Wizard hit by enemy fire or by accident from his own side? Nobody had that answer yet. What everyone did know, though, was simple and painful. A gifted young artist, loved by his people, was gone way too soon. A father, a son, and a rising star taken before his prime. Damn, BigXThaPlug hasn't said much publicly about Z's death beyond that viral clip from the night it happened. And honestly, who could blame him? Losing someone you mentored, supported, and watched grow, it's the kind of grief that doesn't fit into press statements or polished social media posts. Some pain just doesn't translate online. But from everyone close to the situation, one thing was clear. Z the Wizard wasn't just another artist under Big X's label. He was family. He was part of the foundation Big X was building to lift Dallas rap higher while cutting back on the violence that had haunted the city for years. The tragedy exposed a brutal truth about the rap game, the way the industry and the streets keep crashing into each other. Club appearances might be essential for an artist trying to build a name, but one wrong night can turn everything into a nightmare. New Year's Eve shows always bring the biggest crowds and the fattest bags, but they also bring danger. Those nights pack together liquor, egos, drugs, and guns in tight spaces, and it only takes one spark for things to spiral out of control. Z the Wizard knew that. BigXThaPlug knew that. Every rapper who steps into a club to perform knows the risks, but they still do it. Why? Because in this industry, staying seen means survival. The moment you disappear from the spotlight, you start fading out of the game. Visibility is everything. After Z the Wizard's passing, his music kept his voice alive. His tracks are still streaming on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. And just like we've seen too many times before, his numbers skyrocketed after his death. It's a bittersweet pattern in hip-hop. When tragedy strikes, people finally start paying attention, discovering what they should have been listening to all along. Now new listeners are finding songs like Bossa Naka and Chevy, hearing that unique sound and realizing just how much talent was lost. His bars, his melodies, his message, it all hits even harder now that he's gone. His family, still deep in grief, asked for privacy as they planned his funeral arrangements, which hadn't been made public at the time of this recording. They're focused on honoring him the right way, not on headlines or hype. Z the Wizard's legacy stretches far beyond his music catalog. It's in the love he showed his city, the unity he tried to build, and the inspiration he left behind for every artist chasing their dream while fighting to survive in the same world that took him too soon. Z the Wizard stood for a whole new generation of Dallas artists, one that believed they could chase the bag and make it big without falling into the violence that had defined older eras of Southern rap. His music wasn't about beef or retaliation. It was about ambition, hustle, and leveling up against the odds. He wanted to show that success didn't have to come with bloodshed, that real power came from purpose, not from pulling triggers. He gave back too, always. Just weeks before his passing, he organized a toy drive in his neighborhood, making sure kids had something to smile about during the holidays. That's the kind of heart he had. He wasn't just focused on his own come-up. He was mentoring younger artists, giving them advice on how to move smart in an industry that often eats people alive. When he signed with Future's Free Bands label in 2025, it was more than just a record deal. It was validation. One of hip-hop's most respected figures had seen something special in Z the Wizard, something worth investing in. That signing opened doors.
It would be a lot more respectable if the club had made a post with prayers, etc. You know, maybe they're just not trying to say anything because it's bad publicity, but posting that I don't think is I don't think that's a good look.
No independent grind could major playlists, new connections, impossible collaborations with big names already in the game. His future was bright and wide open until it was all ripped away in seconds during that tragic parking lot shootout. The hip-hop world responded with heartbreak and frustration. Artists who had never even met Z posted tributes online, mourning the loss of another promising voice gone too soon. Fans flooded his comment sections, saying they couldn't believe someone so positive got caught in such senseless violence. Critics outside the culture tried to use his death as proof that hip-hop still glorifies street life, but those who really knew Z pushed back hard. He wasn't glorifying violence, he was standing against it, using his art to show there was another way. Sadly, the same world he was trying to rise above ended up taking him out. Rapper G Herbo, who had recently shot a collab video with Z, called him a genuine dude, and that matched what everyone who knew him said. He wasn't some gangster fronting for the cameras. He was a real artist from a real environment, someone who knew the risks but refused to let them define his story. For BigXThaPlug, the hardest question now is, how do you move forward after something like this? He built his name on authenticity, repping real life without sugarcoating it, while trying to rise above the same violence that's taken too many lives in the game. But losing Z the Wizard proved one painful truth. No amount of fame, money, or success can fully protect you from the chaos that comes with hip-hop's deep ties to the streets. That viral clip of Big X's reaction, the shock in his voice, the disbelief in his eyes, will follow him forever. It wasn't some staged moment for clicks or clout. It was real pain caught in real time. And in the most heartbreaking way, it reminded everyone that behind the tough image, these rappers are human too. People who love, lose, and break down just like anyone else. Dallas rap will keep evolving. New artists will step up. Old beefs will fade into the background, and the new Dallas movement will continue pushing this message of peace and unity. Even through the darkness of this tragedy, Z the Wizard's name will keep echoing through the city. His music will keep finding new ears. People who never knew him when he was alive will discover his voice and feel his impact. And as his kids grow up, they'll hear stories about who their father was, his drive, his talent, his love for the city, and how BigXThaPlug helped make sure his legacy never fades. BigXThaPlug is gonna keep pushing forward, dropping new music, building his label and surviving the grind of being a successful rapper in a city where the streets run deep with history and politics. But no matter how far he goes, that New Year's night will never leave him. It's the kind of moment that burns into your story forever. The loss of Z the Wizard isn't just another headline. It's a permanent scar on Dallas rap and a painful reminder of how close art and danger sit in this game. The truth is, the connection between hip-hop and violence ain't abstract. It's real life. Real people dying in real parking lots while their brothers and friends watch helplessly. It's talented artists losing everything before the world even gets the chance to see what they could have become. And it's families left behind to grieve while the internet debates whether it was a hit or an accident. Z the Wizard's death hit hard because he wasn't about destruction. He was about building something better, a new sound, a new message, a new Dallas. His story will keep echoing through the culture, reminding everyone how fragile life can be when fame and the streets collide. Rest in peace to Z the Wizard. Love, strength, and prayers to his family, his kids, and everyone who ever rocked with him. If you felt this story and want more deep dives like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Let's keep the conversation going and keep their legacies alive.